Hello, everyone, and welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2. So, Citizen Sleeper was one of my favorite games that came out. I actually don't remember. I think has it been a year? Has it been 2 years now since Citizen Sleeper came out? But it was pretty fun. I just remember, just going through the game. The world was very interesting. The stories was very interesting, and I never quite encountered something like that. It kind of had the dice roll systems that you see in games like Disco Elysium and games like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, it was not quite a hobo simulator because you were an android, but at the same time you kind of were a hobo to a certain degree because you were trying to survive. You were trying to make it on the streets and trying to make it through this very tough life. But once you kind of got to a good rhythm, it was really good. It was kind of a chill game. And even now I kind of go back and well, I haven't gone back to it recently. I was going to go back to it a couple days ago, but yeah, like it's a very kind of chill game to kind of just sit there once you get to that good rhythm of finding a balance with your resources and stuff like that. And now I see that there's going to be a Citizen Sleeper 2. Even though I think the setup for this one is different, I don't think you're playing as the same character from the first game, and you're also traveling, from my understanding, this time around. So let's go ahead and jump into it. This is also a part of the Steam Next Fest. By the time this actually comes out, Steam Next Fest will be over. So if you missed out, maybe you'll get a chance to play it a little bit, here in a few months or so. But yeah, it's supposed to come out early next year. Okay, so they actually have difficulty levels this time. For those focused on the story, broken dice are worth 1. High stress tolerance, death is disabled. The default difficulty for those happy to be challenged. Broken dice cannot be used. Standard stress tolerance. Death incurs a significant permanent penalty. Okay. And for those who want a tough and tactical challenge with no second chances, dice repairs require more components. Very low stress tolerance. Double energy depletion. Death is permanent. Okay, so yeah, I don't think there were difficulties in the last game. It was just kind of, it wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either. But once you found that balance, it was okay. But now there's actually kind of like, if you want to just be chill and just go through the story, you got this. But if you just kind of want to get into the story, then here you go. So I'll go ahead and do risky, just because this might be in line with what we played in the previous game. So yeah, let's go with risky. Okay, so we have operator. Let's see. Operator sleepers are built to work with drones and remote machines over the local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from a distance. Operators have expertise in working with interfaces and computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skill allows them to hack their own systems to reroll dice, a risky but potentially powerful move. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. I don't know if these are going to be the same classes from the first game, but let's see. Extractor sleepers are built to work at the coal face of corporate resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Extractors have a high level of physical endurance, but their confidence means they struggle with tasks requiring intuition. Their rally skill allows them to motivate those in their team, boosting their crew dice. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Interesting. So I'm guessing we have two sets of dice now. Huh. Okay. And hopefully this won't fool me like the last game did. I went the entire game not knowing that there were actually three different classes. So yeah. And then there's the Machinist. So the Machinist sleepers are built to repair and modify automated systems used in corporate resource extraction. Machinists are very skilled engineers, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring a direct approach or social engagement. Their focus skill allows them to focus on a single task and boost their dice to excel in it. Sleepers assigned to Machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. So which one of these should I choose? I'm guessing this is going to be more like your standard class right here. This will be a little bit more physical, and then the other one will be more about, trying to actually fix stuff and engineer things. I did go the majority of the game. I think the last game I did use the operator, but I kind of think I want to do. Let's see. I think I'll do this. Yeah, because I do like that reboot skill. So let's go with that. In the moment before awaking, the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually, these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First, your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then, its context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in zero G. Then, emotion, coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles: fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: the fear. It is a scrambled, panicked fear, the drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes your reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong, something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper, a familiar name, a mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted. One person sleeping until their debt is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy, an emulation, a sleeper. That is what you are. But you escaped. You remember that now. Broke free of your corporate creators, SNARP, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since you did. All of a sudden, you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes and a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt, a sharp smirk, but this ends here. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away to the corners of your vision to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters. This object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind, from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid roiling in the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial, but it would be wasted on you now, after what you've done to this body of yours. He looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. Shut him up, Lane barks the command, and you hear the sounds of impact, pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of a synthetic muscle. Free, are you? Lane smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now, you aren't free. You're just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grips your arm hard, and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move, but you've ruined all that. Lane speaks louder, over the sound of the struggle behind him. I would try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it. But your emulation? You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into your looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Hey, he waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out long. He unloops a cable from around your wrist. Sleeper, help me out of here. You blink slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you and you feel his hands on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on. He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you're in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see the dark shape of a floating body, surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley, the one who guided you here pausing, catching his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember this station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, Sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead, and it floats away in a swarm of spheres. Talk to me. Who are you? You see a concerned frown across his face. Don't mess with me, Sleeper. That's not funny. He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes, waits for the answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station. No, a city, growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me? Who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes, panic perhaps. You stare hard at his face, the slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He's speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process and he lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. As you're led through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life there. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages, cycle after cycle, the rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer. the promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There, your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond that moment, the residue of panic, of fear, remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Hold. Your guide holds up a hand and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead, you see the tunnel opens up into a wide open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels, the docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it, one covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphin, alright? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane? He was our captor. Both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you, to break your dependence on stabilizers. He pauses. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete, and he sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign or recognition. I've got it. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you know you can do this. Seraphin kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads. He bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. Tutorial. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks where you can perform certain actions using your skills. Like the dice actions you will encounter later, skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you will succeed on a check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You can see more info in the guide section of the pause menu. Okay. You wait a breath, then glide across the door they were guarding. You look already panicked. At the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Okay. So if I hack the door, that's 50-50. It's either going to be positive or neutral. If I break the steel, I can only get neutral or negative. So let's go with hacking the door. Nice. You shift to the control panel, your fingers dancing across the keys. Without thinking, you access the maintenance layer and trigger a fire safety venting procedure. The panel drones out a klaxon, and the door pops open with a hiss. Go, go! Seraphin flies past you, through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks, and quickly glide after Seraphin. Seraphin is already at the rig's door, inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open, and you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphin grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit and the ship's layout, hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on. The rig's drives rumble into life, and Seraphin slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. They was not kidding about pulling away. Jesus. As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphin burned hard out of Darkside, and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphin breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked this ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is, you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. We certainly did. He turns, and you see a pained look on his face, as if remembering something difficult. Had you said this exact thing to him before in the same situation? Are you okay? He looks at you, chewing one side of his lip, searching your face. Not really, he puffs. Seraphin reaches up, flickering through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness, running the rig, you realize is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphin kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door, and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan, he glances around. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly, he sighs. Yeah, we hide here? I mean, I feel like he would find us eventually, but, then I kind of want to actually need to talk. Yeah, we need to talk, because I need to know what the hell is going on. Seraphin furrows his brow. Not now, Sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than... He pauses again, unsure. Us. He sighs. We need to survive this thing first. Then maybe we talk. Fine by me. Seraphin nods, but the tension remains. We've bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do. And there is plenty of opportunities here for us. If we can keep our heads down, he turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along, hand over hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's inside. So we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, Sleeper, it's how to work. I'm gonna get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections. People that might throw us an easy contract. You, he glances back over his shoulder, you keep out of trouble. Low profile, got it. Seraphin stops at the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway through, he pulls a worn crew jacket from a locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into a sleeve. I don't want you passing out and... Let's see. I'll be fine. Seraphin drops his head, swearing to himself. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Thank you. Seraphin nods. He stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open, and Seraphin glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He takes another look at your disguise and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch. Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand, you see a stack of cryo chits. Those should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies. That means odd jobs on the station for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, alright? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he's gone. Leaving the connecting bridge and heading into the docking concourse of Hexport, you wait for a moment in silence. Think about Seraphin. It's hard to know what's going on inside Seraphin's head. Here he is, on some hapless escape plan with a friend who can't remember a thing about him. You try to imagine how close you both must have been for him to agree to this thing, but it's painful to think about it. That's all gone now. Anyway, all you can do is move on. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into port. Alright, so we're at a new area as opposed to the first game. Welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. The game runs in cycles, during which you can perform actions with your dice, use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, and items, progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time in the guide section of the pause menu. Okay. And then I can use my scroll wheel in order to turn around and move around. Okay, simple enough so far. Push and glitch. What art thou? That's the rig. The rig is your ship and home in Starward Belt. In the Starward Belt. While the rig is docked at a hub, there are multiple areas you can visit. Bunks, use dice to reduce stress. Galley, use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. While the rig is in dock at a hub, your crew will also help to gather resources to contribute to the upkeep of the ship. You can choose which resources they should focus on in the crew action menu to the left. They have a random chance of acquiring it at the beginning of the following cycle. Okay. And of course right now we only have Seraphin. This clock is a cycle clock. It will progress towards an event each cycle. Pay attention to these clocks. They can have significant impact, I'm guessing. Alright, on the run. You've put some distance between you and Lane, but you are sure that he'll close the gap as soon as he's able. Alrighty. This is quite a lot. Let's see what we got here. Export docks. Busy way station docks. I'm guessing I probably do need to find some food. What do we have, though? It's just these two places. Yeah, it looks like the game wants me to go here. In Citizen Sleeper 2, you perform actions by assigning action dice to them. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you will succeed at an action. But your dice will be modified by your skill. Your skill modifier for the action is displayed on the right and will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have three outcomes: positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, or dangerous based on the outcome it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. For more information on dice actions, check the guide, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, pretty standard from the first game. It's the same thing. You know, again, like you'll see this with risky and you see this with danger. Again, that just basically means you can get hurt or you can be affected by certain things. And of course, they have a higher likelihood of failing if you don't have the right skills and stuff. So let's see. Chat to crews, explore the docks, export connections. They export docks thrums with life. There are contacts to be made. Here you are sure of it. So that's that. And export exchange. Okay, we can trade scrap or impress the broker. The data brokers are the heart of the exchange. They show off their knowledge by discussing decryption. Maybe if you can talk the talk. I can trade scrap. Trading scrap is all about identifying materials and cleaning up components. It's an engineer's job more than a trader's. Okay. So, rules of the exchange. The exchange buzzes with the conversation of commerce. This is a place where contracts are found. You just need to look. So maybe I should do this one, because what's up with this one? Explore the docks. Export docks are a dizzying mess of braided cables and flickering signage, filled with busy spaces. Exploring is both thrilling and intimidating. Chat to crews. There are plenty of crews milling around the docks and moving cargo. That could be a good source of info. I could do this one. I think the other one had less of these to do. Export connections, export blah 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 blah. Yeah, because I think the other one had 4, so maybe we should go ahead and do this. Yep, just 4. So let's impress the brokers. We already got 3 of these. So yeah, let's go ahead and use these. That gives me a 100% chance of completion. And it will have a positive outcome. And that gave me +2. Okay. And I just progressed the clock. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this one, and this should go ahead and complete this. Alright, new location discovered. So, where art thou, new location? Hexport Canteen. Okay. Here you can eat in exchange for cryo. Eating gives you energy and stops you starving. Different foods give different amounts of energy. Okay. Eat at the canteen. That's going to be 13 credits, and I have, or 13 cryo. I have 43. Most trade halls have a canteen where they prepare their own dishes from the packed supplies they otherwise provide. Yeah, let's go ahead and eat. Alright, so that completely refilled my energy up, and I'm good. And I'm guessing if this is anything like the last one, since there's no restrictions right here, I should have 5 full dice the next time around, as opposed to if I wouldn't have ate. Usually, from what I remember in the last game, you had this white bar right here. Wherever the white bar stopped, that's as far as the dice would go. So if you only had 3 of these right here, then you wouldn't get these other 2. I don't know if it's still working that way, but yeah. Alright, so I've eaten, gotten that out the way. So I can buy fuel. I can buy supplies, fuel supplies, fuel. I would need 45 cryo and 50 cryo. So what's that, 95 in order to completely fill all of these? Oof. Alright, so I got 1 good dice I can turn around and use. Chat to crews. Let's go ahead and... I kind of want to do 1 over here and then 1 over here, but I only got 2 1 dices, and that's going to be very risky, and I don't want to hurt myself. So, let's see. It's either going to be positive or neutral. What about here? Same thing. It's either going to be positive or neutral. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and use this one over here, because at least that way I won't get hurt. I do not want to get hurt on the first turn, I guess you can say. Okay, so I had a neutral outcome, and of course I lost some energy right there. So let's use these 1 dices. Oh no. So it can either be neutral or negative. If I'm lucky, it'll be neutral, which we already saw how that went before. I guess it's fine, because, you know, worst case scenario, I could just get some food. Okay, so that was a negative outcome, but I did get the export expert thing, so let's go ahead and use this next one. Okay, and that was a neutral outcome, so I got another one. You've used all your dices for this cycle. You need to end the cycle at your ship, the rig, to rest and re-roll them. Alright. I'm not going to do that, though. The bins. How much is food here? 7. Okay. I can play Star and Stoker. S&S is a spacer gambling game playing with custom magnetic dice. Chits are stashed in a symbol marked cans, and winning is ruthlessly luck-based. Well, I don't have anything I can use here, but I can get some food. Buy a Ben's Fry, a plastic bag of flash-fried salt-flecked tubers. The Ben's Fries bring spacers back to the scattered tables of the bar cycle after cycle. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that. Alright, so my energy is all the way full. And now I'm with 23 credits, so hopefully the next thing will be a little bit more forgiving, or the next day will be a little bit more forgiving. Freight loading. The warehouse at the Hexport docks supply the industrial operations of the station, meaning they need constant loading and restocking. Okay, so I found a job over there. And it doesn't look like I found anything else over there, but I do have a job over here I can go to tomorrow. So, nice. Oh man, it is good to be back in this world. And this is the map, but the belt is unavailable for right now. I'm guessing that'll open up a little bit later. Alright, let's go ahead and get some rest. Scavenge fuel. That costs odd jobs. What do I have here? Rest and recover. Sometimes it is necessary to rest, or at least try to, in the compact bunks of the rig. This will help you reduce stress when not on a contract. Okay. Make a meal, but you need supplies in order to do that. Oh, so we had 2 supplies. Okay. In the cycle. Okay, besides that terrible one right there, pretty good dice. We're in trouble, sleeper. Seraphin leans into the berths as you are getting out of your bunk. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out into the passage, pulling on your clothes and glide down the length of the ship, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphin is a silhouette silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shouting you at a glance as he does, shooting you at a glance. You find Seraphin inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the zero-G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes? Seraphin shrugs. Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air. And before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of Darkside. He looks at the mess. We're lucky the reserve tank is empty. Otherwise, he shakes his head, it would have been bad. But, he pushes the pipe to the side, no feed from the reserve tank means that the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it. Seraphin sighs. That's the short of it. Seraphin whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We will need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So how about you try to track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. I'll take a look. Seraphin keeps working. Wait, Seraphin pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt, he frowns. A message went out to everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. And we can't leave. Exactly, Seraphim sighs, which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise our solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Now get out of here. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphim's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines. That's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. Great! You have discovered a drive. Drives help you track and choose your objectives in Citizen Sleeper 2. Press the arrow button on the top left to open the drive menu, then choose which drive to track. Once a drive is tracked, a yellow marker will be placed above any location that relates to that drive. Drives come in two types, major and minor. On completion, a major drive rewards 2 upgrade points, and a minor rewards 1. Keep an eye on the drive menu as you progress to see what new opportunities and objectives are available, and track those you want to pursue. So, basically their quest. Okay, so I'm guessing this is our cycle run. We need to get everything completed before this runs out, and if we do not, we are essentially screwed. Rig engine. And that's what we're looking for right there. Now, I wonder if we can get this stuff by working over at the warehouse also, possibly. Factory Row, Ramshackle Fabrication Center. This needs 4. Search the row. The factory owners of the row speak mostly in terms of supply and demand, but going door to door might help you find the ship fitter you need. Haul materials. Factory Row is filled with workers hauling material through its zero-G corridors. Helping might win you some fans among the factories. And it looks like I also might get some money too for this. So, since this is 4, let's go ahead and try this. Oh, because this is counter to my skill. Great. Wonderful. Okay. Oh, that sucks. There's only a 25% chance that that could be successful. So how about we try here? Yeah, that's a 100% chance. Hopefully it'll give me +2. And it does. Okay. Now, does it also... do I get a boost? So I don't get a boost. Okay. So what about this? It's either going to be neutral or negative. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and use this 1. Then I'll use the 3. Let's try that, yeah. Okay, so that was neutral. And worst case scenario, this could be negative, but it's only a 25% chance. Okay, so now we got that done. So let's continue. Factory Row howls as you walk through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind. Wiring manufacturers precisely engineer components with rapidly shifting arms, while scrapers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. Everywhere you look, there's energy and activity, and for good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector. and even the small amount of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way because of Darkside. That place and your memories of it are a muddy haze, but it's hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport, and that wild, flickering city growing on their back like a tumor. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, but deep in Factory Row, you could almost be back in Darkside. And then you see them, two just like those Seraphim had waved in your face, the feed lines. You push over to the display window of the unit marked Karsten's Supply in block capitals cut from hull plate. There, amongst an angled shelf of oversized ship components, sit the feed lines, like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside, where the sound of Factory Row is a little screen, and spot a large figure working at a bench, hunched over and concentrated. It seems he doesn't notice you enter. Hello? A sharp eye glints as the figure looks over their shoulder. Just a random thought I had about the artwork. The artwork kind of reminds me of like the old school Gundam, like the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Yeah, it just kind of gives me that feel. He kind of reminds me of like one of the Xeon characters you would see there. Can I help you? His accent is heavy, but unknown to you. Those feed lines, how much? There's a sharp clink as Karsten places his tools and the component against a magnetic plate on the wall. He turns with a surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on the cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Karsten's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom built those, for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old MEVs then. He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. You try to recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories elude you. Perhaps Seraphim should have come along. I think so. Karsten squints a little. Right. Look. Karsten drifts over to where you are standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone, let's say a few hundred cryo on clean chits. He shoots a glance at the feed lines. 400, let's say, to be precise. 400? 400, Karsten says back, repeating your question without the emphasis. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what they're worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of the bartering type myself anyway. Barter sounds good. Karsten nods sagely. There's a little favor I need a crew for, and well, you look like you might be a good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hand. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there, real old, pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one has ever really cut it, he shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship, so it's been left well alone. But a salvager like you with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming, he smiles. I have a special interest. I need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they kept on the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete, well then I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Karsten pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates. Simple as that? Simple as that, he repeats, in his monotone way. So, you're interested? He glances back at his workbench, because I'm a busy man. I'll do it. All right then. He holds out a heavy hand for you to shake, and as you automatically reach out, he grabs your forearm instead. Karsten pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, all right? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. Those coordinates, and then he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air, Kirsten having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Karsten's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement in the pit of your stomach, and the cacophony of Factory Road in your ears. A contract. Seraphim might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out. You think of leaving this place behind, in possession of an improved ship, too. Suddenly, a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up. You turn in the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from rapid glide. She clearly just came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using your shoulder. Sorry, she smiles, a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. I'm Junie. Her dark eyes flick around nervously. You notice the portable terminal she carries, something data scrapers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. Do I know you? She pauses, confused by the question. No, she pauses again. Karsten, she starts, still catching her breath. He sent me to grab you. She smiles that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. Are you sure? She nods. That's what he said. Karsten's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out. Keeping an eye on things. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So, she looks around the passage. Should I meet you at your ship, and you can tell me when you're ready to go? Sounds good. Okay, great. Her eyes light up. She notices she still has her hand on your shoulder and takes it off. Junie pushes off and waves. Looking forward to working with you, she calls back as an afterthought. What about the ship? Oh, I'll find it, she calls back and then disappears down the passage. You watch her go, glad of the contract but nervous too. Will Karsten keep up his side of the bargain if you deliver? I don't know about this, sleeper. Seraphim looks nervously out of the rig's window as you finish explaining Karsten's deal, as well as Junie's offer of help. If this job was easy, Karsten would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns at the stairs. And there's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. He shakes his head. What choice do we have? What if, Seraphim narrows his eyes, we could get the crowd together to buy the feed lines? Is that even possible? I found a contract board in the exchange further in the station. He gestures towards Hexport. We take on a job that might get us most of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take Karsten's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. Do we have time? Probably not, but without cryo for fuel and supplies, we aren't going anywhere. Seraphim sighs. Just take a look at the contract board. See what you think. While you're at it, you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew too. Seraphim shrugs. Many hands make light work and all that. Or we stop messing around. We take Carson's job right now and get it done before he can think twice. Seraphim yawns. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I've still got work to do on the drive. Seraphim nods a farewell, heading back to the engine room. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly you curl up, pain shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles lock tight. Your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift, as if some connection has broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you're floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There's nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to. You grit your teeth. And then another shift comes and you're back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb and then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain, a disconnection between your body and yourself, a flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you will have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. It could be moments away from collapse, or it might persevere for countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they are yours again. That is the only thing you need, and right now it feels like it's running out fast. You head for the airlock. You have work to do. You have unlocked the contract. Open the map screen to view it. Okay, so I kind of wonder if that was like my actual body, like something happened to my actual body as opposed to the remote body that I'm in. Okay, so that's Carson Supply. We can either deliver the data core or we can get 400 cryo. Swift scrap soil. Data diffusal shift. All scrapyards have paid data diffusal work to offer, as old tech tends to be laced with protocols and countermeasures that need disabling. Or we can do a scrapyard shift, or we can sell raw scrap as well. Okay. The contract board. Conway signal. Station management have located a Conway signal. They are concerned to see one so close and are looking for someone to disable its source. 200 cryo. Buy signal contract. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's buy this contract. See what the deal is. And then I guess we can work a shift. Let's see. Let's see what we get here. So yeah, that makes it an automatic 5. So we can get 2 5s going. Or excuse me, automatic 6. But yeah, let's go ahead and try it. $14 cryo, really? Ugh. What other jobs do we have? Turns that into a 3. That's because I don't have the engineering skill. Okay, so warehouse. This is indoor, so that's not gonna be good. Yeah, that's also gonna knock it down to a 3. What's up at the docks? Still chat the crews. And I do need to max this at some point, so yeah, let's go ahead and get this knocked out, hopefully. Nice. As you're gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphim told you to keep your head down. Oh God. cause a distraction. Neutral outcome. You look around for something that could break up the fight, and you see the thick cooling pipes running down the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve to start spinning. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down the alley, violent jets randomly bursting into the air. There's a scramble in the alley, and you spot the figure who was being attacked drop down to the alley floor. Then your vision instantly fills with the pale liquid as a jet of coolant jumps out nearby, missing you but sending you spinning in 0G. After a few moments, you manage to steady yourself. As you do, you see a clear alley, the assailant having fled, with one figure gliding towards you. I suppose you think that was clever. The man gives you a severe look. You like to break up fights you didn't start? He laughs. Belt's gonna eat you up. He shifts the large bags on his shoulder, weightless but unwieldy in 0G. I was helping. The man laughs. Well, he shakes his head. Thanks, I guess. He kicks off and drifts past you. You watch the man go, and then, after a moment, he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What's your deal, anyway? He sighs. Maybe you're new here, but Hexport is no place for do-gooders. It doesn't seem like any place is any place for do-gooders. I know what it's like. To get beat up? The man shakes his head. Hexport's got real rough. Look, let's not hang around, alright? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. That is quite the name. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out the viewing window at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol crash, he says. You assume that's the ship name. Femi, you bring in strays? A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Nia, Femi shakes his head. This one. He squeezes your shoulder. Help me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you can handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passed across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks. She smiles sweetly. And I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance. Just in general. Nia, Femi murmurs. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you, but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these. Femi hefts the bag. I'm gonna load them back up. Maybe we'll find a use for them. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the symbol crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking, or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs to help more than he admits. What do you mean? She tenses. I don't know if... She smiles a tight smile. I shouldn't have said anything. She pauses, thinking. I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath, then gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for crew? Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, if you're on Hexport, maybe you're with a crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew? Maybe you're looking? Sure, I am. People are gonna die in this game, aren't they? I am going to get people killed. This just occurred to me. Oh God. She struggles to hide her smile. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest. Being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he's suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know? But he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I mean, sure, I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, all right. You can use me, she smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, ways in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. Could you flip over so I can see you normally? I mean, that's cool too, but... She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, all right? Let me prove myself. Suddenly, a shout comes from the ship, echoing down the passage. Femi. He seems to make both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs, then disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. New local crew available. Minor drive complete. One upgrade available. Nice. Nice, nice. Welcome to the character screen. On the left, you can upgrade your skills to improve the skill modifier applied to your dice when you undertake an action. To the right, you can upgrade your push, the unique ability of your class. When upgrading your push, only one upgrade at each level can be active at once. You can configure which upgrade is active only while at a hub. Okay. So... I need 4 to max this out, or I can get an Intuit, Engage, or Engineer skill. I do feel like the Engage skill might help. I mean, the Engineer skill might help quite a bit. Having said that, I also feel like the Engage skill might help quite a bit because it seems like there's going to be fighting and stuff. But I can't endure. Yeah, I'll go with Engineer. I need 4 for that. That's great. Oh, I need 4 for all of this. Also wonderful. Let's not do that. So, yeah, it doesn't look like I can do anything right now. Okay. No damage on push reroll. Reroll plus 1 dice. Minus 2 stress if reroll 6. Reroll random dice, but plus 1 rolled. Reroll dice cannot be a 1. Reroll random dice, but plus 1 rolled. Okay. I would definitely choose that over this one, but that's a bit of a ways off. Alright, so I got a point. Now, as far as this crew stuff goes, can I just, like, get that person? Or, like, how does that work exactly? Why are you glowing? Okay, I need to escape Hexport and complete the board contract. But yeah, like, how do I get you? Right now it's just Seraphim. I'm not gonna play any Star Stoker or anything, but I will eat. Just so I can always stay full. I do need to be careful money-wise about that. Alright, those are the same. Alright, so let's go ahead and end this cycle. Okay, aside from that 1, it's pretty good, actually. So we need monies. Yeah, we need definitely need money, so let's get back into it, shall we? Now, how do I leave and do the contract? Contracts are high-risk, high-reward jobs that you and your crew can take on. Contracts require preparation and care to succeed. You'll need to gather enough fuel to travel to the contract, gather as many supplies as you can afford to keep you and your crew going, look for opportunities to recruit crew, temporarily or permanently, to help you on a contract. Consider which crew to take carefully. They have different skills and stress resistances, and who you choose can affect the story. Once you're ready, you can select the contract from the map, then your crew to proceed. Oh, okay, so yeah, we'll just choose one and then we'll go from there. Conway signal. So yeah, this is definitely dangerous. And this one is just risky. Okay. I'll wait for that for now, and then I'll just keep working to get some monies and stuff. Freight loading, risky. Yeah, it still knocks it down by 1. But let's risk it. We got 2, so let's see how it goes. Got a positive outcome. It's only 13 cryo. Good lord. Okay, so I guess I might as well just stick to the job down here then, if that's the case, because yeah, these outcomes are not great. Not great at all. So let's do that. It was a 9 cryo, but it was a neutral outcome, so it's to be expected. Hopefully this can also be a neutral outcome. And it was not. I just lost some energy instead. What about you? Got another neutral outcome. And yeah, let's go ahead and do this one too. I guess in theory, I probably could, just by purely working, possibly get that, but it'll be dicey, and it would require some good dice. That's almost 100. Right, I need to get supplies, so I'm gonna get supplies last just because I'm not eating at the ship right now, so yeah. Okay, so we're full on fuel. And then next turn, I'll turn around and get supplies for food. And I only lost 2, so going here should give me the food. This should give me the energy I need. Yeah. Okay. And we'll go ahead and end this cycle as well. I bet some shit is gonna happen. It's also kind of giving me like a Cowboy Bebop kind of feel to it as well. It's just, you know, you're trying to make it on your little spaceship and just trying to get by. Okay, so let's go ahead and complete this. And then we'll have enough cryo to completely fill up our supplies. Let's do this. Okay, so yeah, that should be enough. And let's go ahead and fill our supplies. Okay, that leaves us with 12 credits. Yeah, I lose 1 by going and doing that, so yeah. I guess I'll just spend the rest of these points here. get what money I can if I can. Hopefully I won't lose any more energy. I don't want to spend any more money than I have to. Alright. Please be a positive outcome. Neutral outcome. That's fine. As long as I didn't lose any energy, then that's all that matters. Okay, so go ahead, get those fries. Then we'll go back to the ship, and I guess I'll take a look at doing one of those jobs now. Oh, those dice are ass. Okay. All right, so I guess the map. The Solheim one is the dangerous one, so let's just do the risky one. Confirm vector. It's going to be 2 fuel. Okay. Of course, you're locked. Not available. Why are you not available? All right. Travel to contract. The ship kind of looks like a frying pan. Or a fish. Yeah, it kind of looks like a fish. It's a drone. Seraphim spots the signal source first, the light barely shimmering off its dark hull plating, a design trait that betrays its covert use. A flash catches your attention and you see a rent in the hull through which red lights pulse. Wounded, Seraphim shakes his head. Wish they'd finished the job. You've seen one before? Seraphim looks back over his shoulder towards you. We've seen one before. Don't you? He sighs. Sorry, I know it isn't your fault. He looks over at the drone. Lane had us work on one in a dark side bay, though it was barely a shell, disarmed and deactivated. He had us searching through its guts for salvage. Even that one gave me the creeps, and it had its core ripped out. He pushes the ship closer. This one is still alive. Conway, Nia kisses her teeth. Corporate scum. I think Conway was the group that we had to work for in the first game that like screwed us over, and I don't think we ended up. Well, I think you could get a spot on the ship, but yeah, it was kind of dicey one way or the other. You glance over at her and see the fire in her bright eyes. They don't even dare to come here and force us out themselves. It's all proxies and drones. She shakes her head. Typical core-bred cowards. Run into them before? She glances at you. You might say that. She looks out at the drone. You won't see me taking my eyes off that thing for a second. Seraphim carefully guides the ship closer. You watch the drone. System is full of these things now running missions for their operators. Rare to see one out in the belt though. Maybe got hit during a run-in with Senate stat mercs. It looks like it's drifting. Most of the system's blown out. But look there. He jabs a finger towards a red light on the far side of the drone. It's still broadcasting, and maybe even receiving. How do we shut it off? Seraphim brings you ever closer. What I remember from the dark side job is that the central core and the broadcasting array need to be shut off to kill these things. Core will turn off local systems, and the broadcast array will sever the link with the Conway operators. Seraphim swallows. But you can bet those systems are protected. Let Seraphim explain. Your attention is suddenly drawn by a shudder from the drone, like a tremor running along its length. This thing is rigged to blow, Sleeper. He frowns. We go slow and careful, and we don't touch anything we don't know about. He turns back to Nia. You hear that? I got you. She looks sincere. Seraphim brings the rig to a stop, close enough for you to cross through open space to reach the hull of the drone. Let's suit up. You head down to the airlock to prepare. As you get suited up, You think of the corporate war taking place in the inner systems, the war that this drone was driven from. Out here on the shore of the conflict, the biggest danger is that this flotsam and jetsam drifting in with the tides and orbits of the system might, one cycle, bring the war with it. For now, the belt is outside of its reach, but looking out at the red pulsing drone, that doesn't give you much comfort. Welcome to your first contract. While on a contract, you will be able to assign 2 dice for each crew member as you would assign your own dice. Pay attention to the crew's skills to use them effectively. On certain outcomes, crew will take crew stress. When their stress is full, you will no longer be able to use them to perform actions. While on a contract, your energy bar will automatically be supplied for each cycle that you have available supplies. When your supplies are depleted, both you and your crew will take 1 stress per cycle. Contracts also have their own contract stress. When this bar is filled, the contract fails. Good luck. Oh shit. Great. So I can take 1, right? Oh, or that's just theirs. Great. Well, Nia, yours is fine, but Seraphin, what the fuck? Exposed drone. Okay. And I'm guessing I don't have enough dice to do all this myself. It might be possible to slip through the gap in the drone's damaged hull, but once inside, where to go? How to find the broadcast array? That's Intuit. That's Endure. Okay. And then what do we have here? This is interface, so this is more my speed. Reprogram hatch. With the drone in such a reactive state, ready to fry itself in defense, perhaps reprogramming the hatch to open up to your crew is the best approach. Release the hatch. Engineer. The drone is in a delicate state, and any damage could cause it to trigger its self-destruct. It will take skill to release the access hatch. Control access. Getting inside the drone requires care as much as force. Conway is highly protective of their proprietary systems. So I can do this, correct? So turns a 2 of 5. Wonderful. Okay. That only gives 2. Shit. Six, boy. This is. Okay. Now, what about you? Wow. You are not good at this at all. What about this? Also a 2. What about you? Also terrible. Alright, what about this side? Can you guys work over here? You're terrible at this too! That's so wonderful! Wow. Okay. And that's either going to be neutral or negative. Wonderful. I mean, just came in here straight ass. Sir, what were you doing? Like, was I just doing everything? I probably was just doing everything. Oh yeah, they're both off. Okay, so this is mine and this is these two. Great. Wonderful. Let's try it. Okay. Now, let's see if that turns into a 2. Let's Start. Okay. You don't believe in luck. Okay. Sure. Let's go ahead and try it. I mean, 50-50. Roll the dice. Oh, thank God. Okay. And this will bump this up to a 2. Crap. While on a contract, you can use your push ability to give you an edge in tricky situations. Pushing accrues 1 stress, but will give you a key advantage based on your chosen class. You can see your current push configuration if you hold your mouse over the button. Your push can be upgraded and configured in... Okay. Let's just reroll the lowest dice. Okay. Right. We got food and stuff, so let's end this cycle. Okay, I can work with that. That is beautiful. Yeah, I should be able to do this my damn self. Fuck both of you. Okay, got 2. And let's try this. Please don't be negative. All right. You hear the bleeping immediately. Among the chambers and cabling of the drone's interior, something has started counting down. Guys, Nia's voice comes hissing through the suit comms channel. Does anyone else hear that? Because I'm getting nervous. Shit, Seraphine's voice joins her. This is what I was worried about. Are we screwed? I can't be sure. Seraphine has dropped his voice to whisper, as if that might make a difference. Either this thing is about to send out a distress call, or it's about to blow. We've got to shut this system down fast. Then we move on to the other side, because I bet you there's a surprise waiting for us there, too. We good? Nia sounds tense. I'm heading back to the ship. Am I heading back to the ship or what? Seraphine cuts in. We're good. We keep going. He shuts off the channel. You take a moment in the silence. All right. Time to deal with this fast. Then get over to the other side before something happens. Wonderful. I only have 4 turns for this. Disconnect backup. Okay, Nia, you're kind of good at this. In the core, you see the drone. Thank you. What else? I wanted to see that again. In the core, you see the drone is running on backup power. Disconnect that carefully, and you'll be 1 step closer to a full shutdown. Ugh. Not great. Sure. Okay, nice. Drone depth. Disable the core, shut down the broadcast array. Once both are done, this Conway drone won't bother anyone anymore. Okay, drone countermeasure. So we should be done with this then. Alright, next is this side. So you're actually not terrible at this. You just don't have a benefit at this. So create an opening, sir. Alright, that's 2. You don't get a benefit or anything, do you? It's just a 1. It's either gotta be neutral or negative. Great. And it's the same for me. I don't... Yeah, there's nothing bad for me to do here, so... Let's try it. No. Crap. You just gain some stress. As your stress increases, you will have a higher chance of taking damage to your action dice. Crap. It's dicey. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Haha. Oh man, I don't want to try this. Shit. It's only a 25% chance. Please don't fuck this up. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, because we only got 2 more tries there. So this part is going to suck. Ugh. Why are you two so ass? Okay, so end the cycle. What are these rolls here? What is this, Nia? Mine are better, but good God, Nia, what the fuck? Okay. Let's get this one. This should be good too. Actually, these 2 should be good. I got stress, really. Fuck. Yeah, instead of me doing that right now, let's get you over here. Go ahead and drop those 2 off. Okay, so we only need 1 more. And I'll roll the dice in this case because worst case scenario, we'll get one of the drone stress thingies. So we should be good. Nice. Okay. New location discovered. Broadcast systems. Care drone systems. We only got 3 turns for this. Oh, cool. Hack broadcast. Now that you are in the broadcast array of the drone, you'll need to shut it down fast. The simplest way is to put the entire system offline. Well, I have 1 here. It's 50-50. Only 1. Let me reboot config. Maybe I can get a better dice. And I did not get a better dice. Great. It's 50-50. I don't know if I want to run this, but yeah, let's not risk it for a biscuit. Let's just go ahead and end this turn. I also didn't realize that stress is throughout the entire process. Oh, that is not great. Wow. You have taken damage to a dice because of stress. When your dice are rolled at the start of the cycle, your stress dictates if you take damage or not. Higher stress means a higher chance of damage. The white marker above the stress bar tells you which numbers will damage your dice when rolled. Each dice has 3 dice health. When this is depleted, the dice will break and must be repaired to be used normally. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Fun times. But I think we actually will get out of here before that happens. Yeah, I think we'll be gone. Okay, so the array is disabled. The thrumming, pulsing interior of the drone goes still for the first time since you boarded it. You look across at Seraphim and Nia and share a smile. You all exhale so loudly it can be heard over the suite's shared comm channel. The drone is dead. One less piece of Conway shit to worry about, Nia grins. We killed it. Don't get too excited, Seraphim cuts in. It was looking pretty rough when we got here. You make your way back out to the hull, the drone now faintly rolling in one direction. Its stabilizers offline. Nia catches up with you as you glide towards the rig. You make a pretty good crew, Sleeper. We do. Nia grins widely. She punches you on the arm playfully. You reach the rig's airlock and take one last look at the dark hull of the drone. It catches the light as it rolls in the vacuum. At some point in the near future, this drone will likely be smashed to pieces by one of the many asteroids of the belt spread across this place as twinkling dust. The thought pleases you, as does the thought of all that cryo Hexport now owes you. Time to go collect. The contract is concluded. You can leave via the map. Wonderful. That was nice. Okay, that was stressful. That was actually very stressful, and I like that. That was pretty cool. You can now travel back to the hub. Once you leave, you will not be able to return. Leave. Yeah, that was a cool little twist. I like the little mission thing there. And I wonder if, like, once you get to a certain point in the game, you will kind of get into like an endlessness mode where you can just kind of keep playing and keep taking contracts and just kind of live and travel around and stuff. Maybe meet characters you didn't meet throughout the rest of the game and stuff. That would be kind of cool. I would kind of like a game kind of similar to like Change Survival, where you're homeless and you're trying to survive and eventually get your own place and stuff. I kind of would like a mode like that where you can just live in this universe and, you know, see different things. After docking at Hexport, Seraphim lets go of the controls and leans back in his chair. Nia leans over to you. Thank you, Sleeper, she stretches. I know you took a chance on me. Glad to have you. Nia smiles, an infectious smile. Feels good to make a contract work. Seraphim smiles. No matter how we pull it off, it's hard not to agree, and it feels better when the Hexport courier comes with a lockbox full of chits. Lane may still be hunting you, but this should help the effort to slip his net. Suddenly, you hear a familiar voice. Nia! Femi glides into view, approaching from the docks. He fixes you with a stare. What are you playing at, Sleeper? Nia wants to come. You go to speak, but Nia drifts forward, cutting you off. Don't come throwing your weight around, Femi. I can make my own decisions. She glances back at you. Sleeper took me at my word, and I'm grateful. Femi is fuming. Did they now? He turns to you. Well, if you're working for Sleeper, I hope they paid you well. Nia looks away. Well, I asked, so... Femi smiles. Oh, so they aren't paying you. Seraphim crosses his arms. Let's keep this civil. You realize this is the first time he is meeting Femi. If we're being civil, it seems like Nia is owed her share. Femi fixes you with a severe look. Yeah, let's pay her. You grab a third of the chits from the lockbox and hold them out to Nia. She takes them sheepishly. All right then, Femi smiles. We're good here. He turns to leave. Nia mouths a sorry and follows Femi across the docks. Seraphim watches them go. You sure know how to pick 'em, Sleeper. He shakes his head. He turns away and heads back along the docking bridge. I just hope we aren't going to end up 70 cryos short when we need to get out of here. We'll be okay. You just completed a drive and earned an upgrade point. You have a push upgrades available. Go to the character screen. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now that I have 2 points, can I actually get anything? Well, I can't get one of these. Now I guess the question is, can well, okay, never mind. I was going to ask, can I get any one of these? But it goes from level to level. Okay. No damage on push reroll. I'll just do this. Actually, you know what? Let's wait. Let's wait because I want to get the 4 and then I can get one of these over here. I think we're doing okay so far. Wow, I completely forgot that I have a lot of ass rolls here. Let's see, is there any contracts? There are no contracts. Wonderful. So just at some point, I'm gonna have to go off and do that that quest. Do this. We actually did pretty good on fuel. But let's get supplies. And I guess while we're here, yeah, let's go ahead and get the fuel. So it's only 10. And I can go ahead and make some money while I'm at it. I guess to just go ahead and get these drives out the way. Or get this little broken dice out the way. Please be neutral. Yes, okay, wonderful. Let's get that one. Also neutral, wonderful. Really? I love that. I love how the 2 3 dices screwed me more than the 2 1 dices. Wonderful. Oh, that was ass. Okay. Let's go up here, get some food, and then we will call it a day here. Right. And in the cycle. I also meant to say too, the art style kind of reminds me of Kill 6 Billion Demons. It also kind of reminds me of that, which is also pretty cool. Now I wonder, I'm guessing there are going to be no more contracts or anything that's going to be coming, so shit, I'm going to have to, yeah, because even if I turned around and kept doing stuff, I'm still going to have to go and do that. I'm not going to have enough money. Well, I guess we should go ahead and try to do that task. We're full up on everything. I got some pretty decent dice, so maybe that'll work out. Wait, do I keep these dice once I travel? Oh, you're not available. Okay. Well, c'est la vie. Hopefully this turns out okay. I don't keep those dice. You're running out of time to escape lane. I got 5 cycles to do this. The Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strutwork. You watched it in horror and fascination as Seraphim completed the approach, both of you silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now, as you settle beside it, Seraphim is the first to break the silence. This thing is already dead. He shakes his head. It's a corpse, sleeper. He nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. I touch this thing too hard, it'll crumble into dust. This thing is huge, too. Let's not do that. Seraphim does a little mock salute. Aye, aye. He rolls his eyes. Any other tips? Take us up there. That's the bridge. Junie points towards one end of the ship, and both you and Seraphim turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. She hadn't said a word since you departed. She glances at both of your bemused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry, that's where we need to go. She stops pointing. Seraphim nods towards Junie. She's not wrong, sleeper. The bridge would be a good start. Let's assess the wreck first. Junie settles silently back into her seat. She looks away, out of the cockpit, and you are unsure if she is upset or just embarrassed. Carefully, Seraphim brings the ship close to the derelict and guides it along the hull. The rig's lights ripple over the broken surface, finding gaps and cracks everywhere. It seems remarkable that the derelict is still held together. Shit. Seraphim hisses as a huge spinning piece of debris drifts in front of the cockpit. He pushes the rig down beneath it, squeezing between the debris and the hull, and as he does so, an ear-splitting screech signals the rig scraping across the derelict's skin. You freeze for a moment, waiting for the breach sirens to sound, but the moment passes and you relax. You glance at Seraphim. His face betrays no emotion. This isn't safe. Seraphim shakes his head. I'm going to find somewhere better to settle the ship. Then we need to suit up and work our way along the hull on foot. You look back at Junie and see her still in her seat, eyes wide. You okay? Junie looks at you, and there's a sudden unfamiliar hardness in her eyes that surprises you. Then, a moment later, it is gone, and her gaze softens. I'm okay, she smiles a flat smile. Don't worry. Seraphim brings the ship away from the derelict's hull an inch at a time, then slowly brings it round to settle close to a mostly intact hull plate. This section is fairly free of debris. He nudges the ship a little closer. We should be good to hold here. Seraphim unclips from his seat, and you and Junie follow suit. As you all glide down towards the airlock, Junie silently follows, though you can't help but feel judged. As you reach the airlock, Seraphim begins suiting up. We're lucky that little collision hasn't started a cascade that will end with this place coming apart under our feet. Seraphim violently kicks his legs into a set of EVA trousers, clearly irritated by his own carelessness. It wasn't your fault. Seraphim shoots you a look. Fault isn't going to matter when we're floating off into the black. This is a delicate job, Junie says quietly, almost to herself. The data core will be fragile. She casts a furtive glance in the direction of you and Seraphim. Very fragile. Understood. Junie nods appreciatively. The rest of the preparation process takes place in tense silence, each of you considering the delicate job ahead. You suit up too. Though you don't need a helmet to breathe, you slide one on and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it, but there's a lot of wreck here, and there might be good salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. Once the suits are on and the seals are checked, you cycle the lock and stare out at the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. Time to go to work. Okay, pressurized bay, I think that was. Clear cargo doors. Great, none of us are really equipped for this. There are layers and layers of broken hull plates blocking the cargo doors. This will require some heavy work. And then there's the final access point. There has to be a way in amongst the shattered hull. Searching will be slow, but at least the derelict will remain. Shit. Okay. So there's no minus for this. Oh, this only needs 4. Okay. Great! Already got 2 stress. Okay. 2 to gain entry. And this should do it. Alright. We got 2 areas here. Corroded airlock. None of us. Well, we're okay with this. But what about down here? This is cargo storage. Okay. Map the base. Let's see, scrap survey. This end of the derelict is partially intact. If you can survey it, perhaps you can find some valuable scrap amongst the decay. Okay, so me and Junie both are okay with this. Seraphim is useless. But he's pretty useless anyway because of these terrible rolls that he got. Sure, let's go ahead and do that. So it's kind of risky because, yeah, we only got 5 turns to do this. So if we run out of supplies, we're screwed. Actually, I don't even think we have 5 turns. We have like 3. Oh shit, I didn't think about that. We'll see how this goes. Let me dump one off into here. Dangerous. Wonderful. The contract stress has triggered a crisis. A crisis will add 1 contract stress per cycle unless resolved by the crisis. At the crisis location. What? Oh, great. And I'm guessing that's 2 and 3. Even better. This is a 50-50 shot. And I don't like that. Please be neutral. Fuck. Okay. Bro, you so ass, man. You so ass. I know whatever situation I'm in, it's because of you. Emergency seal. And y'all just, oh my god. Okay, so that needs to be breached. We got to deal with that next turn. But for now, we can go ahead and get this dealt with. Possibly. Or not. This time. Okay, new location discovered. Which will be... extract raw scrap. That's just, okay, so and that's just, you can do it. Great, wonderful. But we still need to deal with this, and we need to deal with that. Now, I wonder if on easier difficulties you can bring, like, more people with you. Or you can only just bring 2. That's kind of unfortunate if you can only bring 2 people, and it always has to be him. So, Alright, so... yeah, because wait. 1, 2... okay, so we do have 5 turns. Okay. Yeah, end the cycle. Great. And once again, he's useless. Okay. I can't help out here. Oh my god, this is awful. Let's see. So I can just try to use my stuff here. Okay, that's 2. What? Great. That's 2 crisis now each turn. That's gonna be pretty much the same if I do that, so yeah, because this is just gonna be -2, which is gonna be a 4, so might as well just use the basic ass 4 instead. Okay, we got entry to the bridge now. The bridge of the derelict lies silent. The pale beams of your suit lamps catch rows of terminals and clouds of glittering dust. Wires wave like seaweed, and the whole scene appears as if underwater. Chaotic, but still. Junie glides past you, disturbing the dust and taking you by surprise as she does. She's been a stoic presence so far, but in this moment she seems drawn forward by some force of curiosity. You watch as she bats away debris and begins checking terminals. Let her work. She's already prying an access panel off one of the more intact looking terminals, and as she does, puffs of rust color the vacuum around her red. Approach her. She turns back to the terminal and finishes prying off the plate. Then, quickly, she reaches inside, fishing around for something. Her hand comes back out with a waving cable topped with a thick connector. As soon as she sees it, she slips a keyboard-sized deck out from somewhere on her person. She runs her hand across the back until she finds the right port and slots in the connector. All of this happens in a few seconds. The routine, practice, and precise. It's hard not to be impressed. Nicely done. We'll see, she says, so quietly it seems mostly to herself. Junie's fingers dance across the deck's keyboard, and a burst of static lights up the Solheim terminal screen. The sudden burst of light and color takes you by surprise. Junie's fingers taps away, the terminal screen flashing with blocks of color and lines of code. It buzzes and vibrates, its long-dead systems forced back into a chaotic life. Then all at once it goes dark. The terminal is dead. Shit, Junie hisses beneath her breath. Useless. You cannot tell if the insult is directed at the terminal or herself. Find anything? She looks up at you, as if she was just waking from a dream. No, she pauses. Nothing useful. She protectively slides her deck away. The cradle with the data core can't be far. She pushes off from the terminal, gliding away from you. I'll start looking, she calls back and heads to the other side of the bridge. Seraphim glides up beside you. Everything all right? All good. Good. Seraphim claps you on the shoulder. Seraphim stretches in his suit. I have to admit, it's nice to be back working, especially now that we are the ones who will reap the benefits. He claps you on the shoulder. Feels good to be taking our fate into our own hands. I know it's pretty rough there back on Hexport, and out here we're just as likely to get shredded by debris as find the damn data core. But aren't you glad we made a break for it? He pauses and looks down, having asked the question almost by accident. I mean, I am. I just don't want to speak for you. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm liking it so far. Seraphim smiles. You better be. I didn't give up that little dark side cupboard I was living in for nothing. He laughs at his own joke. Look, Seraphim checks his suit's wrist seals. Once we've got a bit of space behind us, once we've gone the distance, if we even manage to get that far, he furrows his brow. Don't feel you owe me. I'm no charity case. You want us to go our separate ways? Fine by me. He meets your eyes. Just do me the favor of telling me to my face. I will. Seraphim nods but doesn't respond. After a moment, he shines his torch out into the dark, checking the rows of terminals all across the bridge. You watch the glittering dust as it eddies in the beam. Seraphim sighs. Let's get to it. You watch as he crosses the bridge, his torch probing the dark corners. You feel a chill run through your body as you imagine the people that once ran this ship, the Solheim crew, surely long dead. What was it like here before the collapse, when this system was the jewel in Solheim's crown? It's impossible to know. That history is lost to you now. All you can do is pick what you can from the ruins. All right. Purge protocol. So let's see. Oh. So we need to shut this down. Great. And what options do we have? This is the bridge. So I can reboot the systems. Can I? What did that actually help me? It did not. Okay. Rather than hunting old pathways, rebooting the selected section of the ship. Right. So I'm good at this. Junie's good at this. You're good at nothing. And you have 2 terrible dice. This is going to be a 3, which me and 3 usually do not get along, but I don't have much of a choice in this situation. At the same time, there's also this crisis up here. And again, you're useless. And this is going down by 2 each turn. Oh God, this is awful. I may have to just restart this. Because this is not looking good right now. And I'm pretty sure this isn't going to give me enough. Yeah, this gives me 2. Like, even under the best of circumstances, this isn't going to... Oh, God. Well, I guess I'll just have to do what I can. And just keep rolling the dice. Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad. So that means, I mean, I could, what happens if I put this here? Yeah, it's 50, it's either going to be neutral or negative. And I don't really know if I should keep doing this. And it's the same way up here for the whole breach. But I guess, you know what? Screw it. Great job. And that's just for his... Okay, that's for his own stress. He's so ass, I swear. He is just absolute ass. It's impressive, actually, just how ass you are. Alright, back to the ship. And we just don't have time for this. Okay, I have better dice. You have a good dice. New crisis location. Why? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So with this one, we're all ass at this. With this one, he's okay. And that didn't... Oh my god. Yeah, the only thing we can do is just try to get up out of here. Now, we're both okay with this, but honestly, at this point, it's just too bad. Oh, wait! Oh, God. I'm just screwed. I'm just screwed. Okay, let me see if I can reload this and go all the way back. And hopefully not make this as bad as this situation currently is. Because, yeah, this is 3. So this is going to... After this turn, it's over. Like, there's literally nothing I can do in this case. Yeah, and I don't even know, like, if it auto saves like that. And we don't have the money, so this is just going to be screwed. I almost just want to get scrap just to turn around and have something from this. Because at least I can sell that. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. We just gonna get some scrap. I don't even care. Because, like, yeah, there's nothing else that we can really do. Because this... I might be able to turn around and... Because let me see, that'll give me 2. So 2, 4, 6, 7. So I have 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, that can proceed. But it's still not going to be enough to complete it by the end of the turn. Fucking hell. Neutral outcome. There was so many neutral outcomes and so many of those negative ones that just fucked me in the beginning. And then this shit stacking constantly and then creating new crisis points all over the damn place. Like, good God, come on, man. And then this one. Good God. What does that even lead to next? Data core cradle. So... So close, yet so far. I was so close. That is painful. That is absolutely painful. Ah. Okay, that's 2. That means you both have to get at least a neutral out of this. And of course, he is ass when I need him the most. Both of them were ass when I needed them the most. So yeah, I mean, that's that. That's not... If there's another turn, I can get the data core and then skedaddle. But it's not looking good. It might let me do it because that's what happened on this turn. But we'll see. God. Absolute failures. I'm doing everything here. There's a horrifying lurch. You were sent spinning through the bay. You were crossing in a hail of debris. You watch as the side of the bay silently tears open in front of you, a gaping black maw toothed with flying debris. You stare into it, your breath heavy in your ears, your eyes wide. Suddenly, you feel a tug on your back, your tether. As you spin back from the sudden arrest of your glide, you see Seraphin's holding onto the other end, reeling you toward him. We have to go, Sleeper. This place is done. You both make your way up through the splitting derelict in silence, charting a path through what were once passages, but are now twisting tubes like the intestinal tract of some dead creature. Eventually, you make it out onto the surface and find the rig still tethered but gashed with debris and scars. You and Seraphin exchange concerned glances. We're going to pay for this. He looks over the damage. Let's hope she still flies. You tether together and push off from the hull, Seraphim guiding you through the debris. Below you, the derelict is exploding in slow motion, tearing apart into a swarm of razor-edged shards. All this in no core, Seraphim fumes. Now the rig's torn up too. You don't have much to offer an answer. He's right. It seems the job was a disaster. We just hope it isn't terminal. It's gone. Junie's voice comes through faintly over the comms. She must already be on the ship. The whole ship is falling apart. If you weren't ass, you and your homie Seraphim was just complete ass. No shit, Seraphim quickly answers back. Contract's a bust. What a waste, Junie says quietly. And then the channel clicks off. You arrive at the rig's airlock and bundle yourself inside. Noticing the exterior damage, it looks mostly superficial, but it will no doubt take its toll on the ship. Once you're back in the cockpit, you look out at the derelict's shattered form. It seems you will be its last visitors. Straight ass. Ah, that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. And then I already had 2 to begin with. And I wonder if we would have listened to Junie, we would have just been able to go ahead, get the core, and go from there. But yeah, let me check this real quick and see if there's like an earlier save or something where I can start off at the beginning. And if I can, then I'll go back to that. But if not, then we'll just continue forward. Yep, that's not how that works. It goes purely by the cycle. I guess it saves at the beginning of each cycle. So yep, you're just kind of screwed in that fact. But yeah, c'est la vie. So I guess we are heading back, and we are screwed because I didn't get any scrap. I knew I should have just got some scrap and said fuck it, and maybe we could have sold that and had enough. Oh wait, I meant to leave. Good God. As you arrive into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. I need to speak to both of you. On the journey back, you notice a change in Junie, a hardening, and now she seems very different to the nervous hacker you first brought with you. I know we failed to extract the core, but I wanted to be honest with you about why I came to you. I don't work for Karsten. Perhaps that was obvious, and I didn't want to bring him the core. You and Seraphim exchange glances. You would have taken it? She looks away. I don't know, Sleeper. Yes, perhaps I would have, but I also would have spoken to you, explained myself. Do you know how many of those cores are left intact? Quite a few of them in the last game. Junie suddenly looks gripped by emotion. Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, in their ruins, and yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we get here when others like them, like Senatstadt and Conway, are descending on this system? This station and most of the other habitats of the belt are built on a Solheim foundation. She frowns, yet we're too busy scavenging them to take the time to look for answers. Men like Carson want nothing but the raw materials of core like the one we lost. She shakes her head. We can do better. We could learn our history and how this system was settled. We could better learn the technology we build our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She meets your eye. We could see beyond survival towards something else. You've never heard Junie speak like this, and you realize what you've taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you, mourning a data core, is the real Junie. Not that it matters now, she glances away. It's all lost now. Keep your honesty, Seraphim cuts in. It's worthless to us. He completes the landing protocols and begins shutting the rig's engine off. We don't have time for confessions. Junie looks crestfallen. Carson won't come for you, if that's what you're worried about. He's ignorant and stubborn, but he isn't vengeful. That is not what we're worried about. Explain to Junie. You tell Junie about the feed lines Carson has, about you and Seraphim fleeing something, and that you can't run any further without them. Junie nods along, her eyes darting back and forth as if trying to calculate something in her mind. Seraphim turns to you. If you have any bright ideas on how to get those feed lines, now would be the time, Sleeper. There's another way, Junie interrupts. I could help you steal the feed lines. She stares at both of you with determination. Seraphim looks at you with raised eyebrows. It seems he is noticing the change in Junie too. Carson is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there. She looks at Seraphim. You look tough, she shrugs. We can do it. Seriously? Junie gives you the kind of hard look you wouldn't have thought her capable of several cycles ago. Seriously. Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me, even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Carson is probably ripping you two off. Even if you get enough cryo, what's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Carson to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphim is watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which given everything seems a little tough, how do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me we just walk in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here, and I don't much feel like hanging around waiting for Carson to figure out my involvement in all of this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphim sighs. I don't like it, he pauses. But it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? We don't have a choice, sir. I like it. All right then, Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row and scope the place out. Meet me there and we can work out a plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me, we can find a way. We will keep it simple and clean. Simple is good. Agreed, Seraphim cuts in. His dark look betrays his concern. I'll go scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Carson to suspect us. Meet me there in a few and we can finish setting up. We don't have a few. Junie unclips from her seat, floating up. I want to show you I can be trusted, that we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage toward the airlock and Hexport beyond. You look at Seraphim. I'm saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from his seat too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get out of the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we're in it now. He leaves the cockpit. You stare at the chaotic lights of Hexport and wonder if anything in the starboard belt ever runs smooth. Ah, that's the end of the demo. And of course I would have been screwed because, yeah, I didn't actually have enough time to complete everything and I messed up. So, yeah. But that was really good. I really like that. I do wonder if it's going to be similar to the first Citizen Sleeper where, you know, you had a time limit there too to kind of gather your resources and stuff. But the game, like, I don't think you really could have failed it. And I don't really know if there were any fail states in the game, but yeah, like you didn't fail or anything like that. Of course, you got hurt and you couldn't do certain things, but yeah, I wonder if there's going to be something that's going to pop up and maybe you kind of get out of that situation. So that would be cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed this and I can't wait for it to come out. Comes out in early 2025. I hope it comes out literally January 1st, 2025, because I'm really excited to play this. So I hope you enjoyed this. So if you liked the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have a lot of things on the channel and I will have many other things in the future. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave it in the comment section and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. See ya.